Hello. I'm doing this very strangely. I just saw TF1. It was a bit ago. I saw it at 10. I started at 10 a.m. Finished around 12. It's been almost 3 hours since I've seen it. I just watched a video of Dr. Lockdown Diamond. I didn't watch all of it, but they're like, oh, we just got back from this 3 hours and we're talking about it. Like, they had an early screening. They've been sitting on this for months. There's a whole story behind that, but yeah, I was like, wait a minute, I can do that. So, here are my thoughts on TF1, or just recording them. I'll see if I release this, but I might turn this into an editing project so I can figure out how to edit and that. But it's good. Ding, it's good. There you go. That's it, over. That was gross. Yeah, I really liked it. My hype for the movie, I think I felt more hyped for Rise of the Beast last year. I guess I was younger, and I don't know why I felt a lot more hyped for Rise of the Beast, and knowing I did know that this movie was gonna be perfect for me, because again, me and many others have been waiting for a film that's just about Transformers. It's just Transformers, and this one finally did it. It's just finally a movie on Cybertron about Transformers doing Transformer things. They're characters, they're good characters, and yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. So I don't know why I wasn't like so much hype for this but I did have a better time watching this than I did Rise of the Beast. Rise of the Beast, I got better cinema experience because I was in like a theater basically by myself, and it was a big theater. But this one, it was in with a bunch of kids, because I forgot this is a kids movie. Can't wait till I'm 40 and doing the same thing. Yeah, but there's a bunch of kids in the cinemas. There was one behind me who was really, really annoying. Not too bad during the movie, but like before it, and just at some parts really annoying. Like, you just wanna, you know. I don't know what that means. I was gonna take back the threats. I was gonna make it bad against a child. Yeah, but that was annoying. But the movie was good, so I was able to distract myself. So better cinema experience with Rise of the Beast, but better time watching it with Transformers 1, because it is a much better movie. But I still really liked Rise of the Beast. That's my Rise of the Beast review out of the way. Transformers 1, opening, like, when it opened, and they go into like the lore and that. I'll put spoilers in the title of the video so you know this is spoilers. But when it opens and they just go into all the stuff, I'm like, what? I was like, wait a minute, I'm watching a Transformers movie. Wait a minute, this is everything I wanted. Like, in the first like 5 minutes of the film, it's already given me everything I wanted. And that's like, yeah, it's like a lot of my world has to do with Transformers. I've got Transformers everywhere. You can see like the wall of boxes behind me. Like, I love Transformers. And like, my ideal perfect movie is a Transformers movie, just because I love the story so much. And this, I have to rewatch it. I'm gonna rewatch it at some point. I'm gonna ask friends if they want to see it. I'll view it with my family one time. This is basically a perfect movie for me. I really hope I'm not just being overexcited. I feel very calm right now, so I don't, like, I'm thinking back on it, and that's what's making me realize, wait a minute, this is perfect. Because when I got out of it, I was like, wow, that was incredible. I'm not sure if it beats the 86 movie for me. I just have so much love for that movie, and I'm still not sure. Like, it's definitely a better, objectively it's a better movie than the 86 movie, but the 86 movie is just so good. So I don't think it's better, or it's not beating it, because 86 movie is my favorite movie of all time, and Transformers 1 is probably like just below that. I have to rewatch it to fully cement my opinion, but that's what's kind of looking at as I'm thinking back. But the opening, okay, big spoilers here, opens up Primus, like, it's like straight out of the design from like the comics and all that. just Primus right there. He transforms like how he does in the Transformers Cybertron 2005 toy. Was it 2006 when that released? I don't know. Sorry. Yeah, but transforms like that. You get to see Primus transform in the first 5 minutes of this film. Like, that's incredible. That's amazing. Like, what? So, you see him transform, they go into all the primes, and I got a bit confused, because one of the primes, which I believe was Megatronus, he looked like Straxus to me, so I'm like, oh, that's cool, they're gonna make Straxus a prime in this. I was like, that's cool, I like that idea. But no, that's just Megatronus, and just me being overly nerdy about things. But, yeah, that was cool. It's like, immediately, this is the start of the film, and it's like, my jaw dropped. And that happens a lot during this film. But yeah, and then the rest of that scene, I love that. I love that Orion went to like the archives to look at stuff. Like, he's not a data analysis in this film, he's just a miner. And yeah, it was nice to see like hints of that in him. And I love Orion as a character. I think that that is it. It might be. I'm looking back and at all the primes that I've released. Like, this is, like, that has to be one of the best, right? Or that, is it the best? It might be the best. I'm trying to think. Because, yeah, that might be the best. The best one. Like, I just finished reading IDW comics a while back. Not a while back. If I said just finished, can't do while back. But, yeah, I finished reading the IDW comics, and that is great. Especially everything they do with Optimus Prime and Orion Pax. I think that's the definitive best Prime for me. Like, that's peak Prime, and the one in TF1 is very, very, very similar to that, which I love. So this, like, in like visual, not visual media is not the right word, in like televised, moving media, shapes that move, not comics. I think this might be the best Optimus Prime rendition we've ever gotten, because the G1 cartoon was great. Like, that's probably that's also one of the best, and this is like very reminiscent of that. But you get to see it happen. You see him a bit more naive. There's a lot more depth to it. Like, you see him become that Optimus Prime from G1, and like, he's just a great character throughout. It's a tough battle between Megatron and Optimus between my like favorite characters, which I'll talk about this as a good jumping off point. D16, at the start of that, he's like I knew the villain was going to be like corrupt government Sentinel Prime, and I love the fact that D16 was like with the government, not like working for the government, but he's like fully on board with them. He's like, oh, I love Sentinel Prime, he's the best, he's awesome. Like, I love that. Immediately when he said that, I'm like, oh yeah, he's gonna rip his head off. Like, dude, that's like so much. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting a more like rebellious Megatron from the start. Megatron is just like, I don't think this is right. But I like that Orion was the one not think it's right, but D16 is the one who's on board with it. But then like, and then it makes so much more sense for him to become the villain, because like, he's the one who's like had the bigger betrayal. He feels like Orion always felt that something was off, but D16's always been on board. But yeah, I love that D16 was on board and then he gets betrayed. Like, that's brilliant. This is a good thing to bring up, and for like personal reasons, this is like a super weird and probably dumb reason to have personal connection to this movie, but I'm in year 12 drama, right? And as part of that, you have to have an individual project. And for my project, I decided to write a script. And again, I'm trying to make something that's like right for me, or what works for me, like the ideal thing I want to see. And that ideal thing was me basically trying to recreate Transformers 1. I was writing this before the movie was out. I had ideas about it before like the first trailer dropped, or I really knew what we were getting into. So I wasn't trying to rip off the movie. I was just trying to tell that story, because that's the ideal story I want to see. So in my play, I had two characters, Orion and Monoceros, which Orion and Monoceros are both star constellations, which is why I took the names. Orion was taken from Orion Bax, because again, I wanted to make that Megatron Optimus story. So it's kind of plagiarism, except it was my own original story. I wasn't, like, if I took something from it, is because it was... I'm trying to make myself not look like a thief here, but if you read my... if you read my script... Okay, I'm gonna sound like some jobless guy who's trying to get big off script writing, and it's like, if you read my script, but I'm not going for that. But in my script, you can see that there's an inspiration from Transformers. I don't rip anything off, like, entirely, besides, like, Orion being a name of character. But it's very inspired by that, like, stories from, like, IDW, but then there's, like, other stories that are, like, similar to that, like, stuff in 1984, or, like, Marvel stuff. It's, like, stuff from that was what drove me, and I wanted to tell a story of people in a system rising up against the system, but then having their own conflict arise from that, where one goes down this route that, like, just eradicate anybody who's doing something that isn't right, just kill them, get rid of them. And then there's the other one that's like, they should punish them for their crimes, they shouldn't be killed though, we should give them the chance to learn, the chance to do better, we should fight for a world that, like, becomes right. While the other one's like, let's just get rid of it all, so it's right away. And, like, it's an interesting dilemma. It's a really good dilemma, and it's fun to see what most people I've talked to about this are on the side that just kill people. And I think for a bit I was on that side too, but I do find myself teetering, like, I feel like we should let people right their ways, like, not be so driven by violence. And that's the story I wanted to tell. I think by the end I did get a bit of that. I didn't have, due to, like, page limits and that, I wasn't able to get as much in as I wanted, because I had something down that's a good story about people rising up against a corrupt system and realizing they need to change. I kind of got rid of the more interesting conflict of not knowing what is right, or what you should do, what you shouldn't do, which sucks that I did have to get rid of that. But I pulled some really stupid actions with that script, so it's kind of my fault. Yeah, but Transformers 1 told that story perfectly, which I kind of knew I was going to do that. I'm like, man, should I even keep writing this script? Because it's like, this movie's going to come out and it's going to do it infinitely better than anything I could ever do. And yeah, that's what it did. It's just that perfect story of rising up against a corrupt world and then trying to figure things out. But there's just two different ways to go about it, and I love that, because again, then it makes the Decepticon Autobot argument better, because again, it's like, if you're Autobot, you're looking for change, more forgiveness, and trying to make things better and leaving it better, like, but just going through it with violence and that, sure, it gets you what you want, but it's a lot messier and it's probably not going to be as stable, which is something that takes a while to realize. Which, that's the Decepticon and Autobot argument that will be happening in, like, whatever happens next after this. But yeah, that story beat, those story beats, is exactly what I want to see from a perfect film, and that's what Transformers 1 has. So as I'm thinking about this and discussing it, I'm sort of realizing, wow, wait a minute, this is kind of perfect for me. This is just, in my opinion, like, this is pretty perfect for me, for who I am, for what I want to see. This is perfect. Alright, so I guess that's the part of the video. It's like why I like it, and then I'm gonna go into a bit more spoilery stuff, like just smaller things that I like about. Take a sip. The action was pretty good. It's not like as good as like peak Bayverse stuff, but it was really good, and they did very creative stuff. It's better than like Rise of the Beast and that, and Bumblebee. Well, Bumblebee had some pretty cool stuff. But there's this one scene that's like awesome where Optimus rams into a guy, then transforms, so his transformation takes his arm, spins around his body, and basically splits this guy in half using his transformation to do that. Which was like, saying that sounds like gruesome in the movie is like not so bad, but like that's what happened, and that was like awesome. And the action is so good. Megatron's fusion cannon is like uber powerful. You see that, like he fails, like he misses a shot because Optimus knocks him out of the way, and like it tears a building down. Like it's powerful, which I love that. I love the fusion cannon being super powerful. There's just super nice shots, like where they'd recreate stuff. Like this is big spoilers, not big spoilers. It's big spoilers for this a really cool scene. If you're a fan of Transformers and if you're a big fan of the '86 movie, like me, there's this iconic shot where Optimus jumps up in the air. Hold on, I can get a representation of it for you. I am back. But Optimus jumps up in the air. Like this is another great recreation of it. It jumps up in the air and just bang. Like he jumps up in the air, fires Decepticons. It's so cool. He does it after he transforms. It's one of the best shots in that whole film. And then they could recreate it in this movie. He's like jumping, he's like, hey, look out, and does that, and like my jaw dropped. I'm not sure if my friend saw it, but like it was just, again, my jaw drops a lot in this film, but like just bah, like that, like dude, that was like incredible. Like, I was not expecting that, and it was so cool to see, and there's so many moments like that throughout the movie, and it's just, yeah, that's nice, that's like awesome. Yeah. So, yeah, that's how action is really good in this film. I liked it. They had some really cool stuff, and like there's just little bits in between scenes that are just really cool to look at. Character designs, I loved all the designs. I think the voice acting and character like depictions were a bit bad. Well, not bad, but just a bit different, which I hate to be a G1er, but there's stuff like, I didn't mind Shockwave. I like the way they did Shockwave. He was a bit more funnier, but I kind of like the way he acts. Like there's a bit where he's scared of a leader, and if you think about him as a character, as a guy who's like driven by logic, you're like, okay, yeah, this is a leader. Like you can see why the rest of Decepticons agree with him after that, because like, okay, if the most logical guy on Earth is scared of this person, yeah, they're probably scary. So, yeah, I liked that. I liked Shockwave. Jazz, I think I had a problem with, because I feel like he should have, his voice didn't fit the character to me. It's still like a good performance and all that, nothing against the voice actor or anything, just maybe if they do like a future movie, maybe make that, I don't know, change it a little bit, make it more G1, like I like the G1 voice, so that's just kind of me biased liking the G1 voice. I want to hear that again. That's my really own discrepancies. I love Steve Buscemi as Starscream. That was great. Fits the character. I think it was Epic Voice Guy on Instagram did Soundwave, and he did a really good job. It's very similar to like that G1 Frank Welker voice, like but without the auto tuning or anything. It's just like that deep, like scary voice. It's very similar to that, which I liked. Yeah, and there's just nice moments with those characters. And the main cast, the main four, are all great. They all get their time in the sunlight to develop their characters and to be good. Like, I liked all of them. Alita One's one of my favorite characters, so it's great to see her get a spotlight in a film. So, yeah, I loved her character. Loved her being like the no-nonsense one. You can see bits of chemistry with her and Optimus, so that was nice. Bumblebee, I like that they took Bumblebee back to his like more roots of being like humorous and a bit annoying, and he like actually has a voice. And it's funny that in all the movies he's silent, doesn't have voice, speaks to the radio, and then the final one where he has like a voice, excluding like the parts in Bumblebee, and some parts in in base verse, he just doesn't shut up, and I like that depiction. Because I like it when Bumblebee doesn't shut up. He's a bit annoying, but he's funny, and he's like just the happy side of the Autobots. He's happy to be there. He brings people's spirits up. It's a good depiction of Bumblebee. I really liked it. And yeah, and then again, Megatron and Optimus are like neck and neck for whoever's my favorite, because I love the storyline they did with Megatron. It's so good, especially at the end where he becomes Megatron. It's just really good. Gonna lose my voice, which that hasn't happened in a long time. Yep. And alright, yep. My favorite scene, what was that? My favorite scene in the whole movie is when Optimus is talking to the future Autobots, and just the way they did that scene is so good, because Optimus Prime is an inspiration, right? He's just the beam of hope. Whenever he speaks, everybody listens, and it's just, you feel 100 times better once he's done speaking. Or when he's speaking. Once he's done speaking. Not a good way, no. When he's done speaking, no, not when he's done. When he's speaking, you feel 100 times better. Like, that's how Optimus Prime is, and they capture that in this movie. So my favorite scene is where he's talking to all the future Autobots, telling them that it's not great right now, but he gives them inspiration, and it's like a bunch of children looking up to like a father figure, which is what Optimus Prime is. He's like the father figure, and they just did that so perfectly. That's like quintessential Optimus Prime right there. And it was just so good. So Ryan Pax is talking to all the miners. Like, he's bigger than the rest of them because he has a transformation cog and they don't. So he like looks bigger, he has presence in the room, everybody's looking up at him, and he gives them the truth and then inspires them. Which, like, yeah, that's just great. I think that's like he's probably the best depiction of Optimus Prime ever, in my opinion. Well, not ever. Maybe. It's a tough line between IDW and this for me. But, yeah, just that whole scene, that's my favorite scene in the movie. It's just, that's Optimus Prime right there. So that was awesome. Right. And then, the other thing, Sentinel Prime is a great villain. I love that they took like aspects from all his incarnations and put him into one. Like, besides maybe was it? No, I'm thinking of something else. Never mind. But yeah, just all of his renditions in one character. Like, that's great. I love that. He's just a terrible person, and he does some like very like in terms of Transformers. Like, it's pretty messed up. Like, he takes everybody's transformation cogs when they're born, or he takes some of them so they become minors and they're forced to do this. He's forcing people into roles, which again is a big role thing in Transformers. And he's basically like the human equivalent of that is like if doctors decide to take like 1 in 5 babies like kidneys away for like no reason other than to make those babies worse than everybody else. Like, it's completely messed up what he's doing. So I like that he's like unforgivable in what he's doing, because it makes Megatron and Optimus' argument better. Again, like Megatron wants to kill him because yeah, the guy deserves death, and Optimus is like, yeah, he deserves punishment, but let's not kill him, let's try to be better than him. Which, yeah, love that. So Sentinel Prime is a great villain. Arachnid I also liked, like, she's just evil. Like, it's like riding on that thin line for me, where it's like just a person, like a character that I hate. I don't think she's like too despicable where it's like, I just hate this character, don't want to see them. It's like, yeah, this is just an evil person, no good. So yeah, I love, yeah, Arachnid was good, and Sentinel Prime was just really good as a villain. And I wish the Quintessons got more time, so hopefully if they do make future movies, like, the Quintessons get more focus. Because they end the movie like saying like, Quintessons, back off. And not those exact words, but it's like that. I really like Quintessons. Quintessons have like my favorite. I love their designs, and this one has really good designs for the Quintessons. Hopefully, we see like a judge in the future. But yeah, or I'm not sure if that big one was the judge, but hopefully we see a design like the judge because I love the 5 spinning faces. Like, yeah, I love. Someone's note stuff. Yeah, I love the spinning faces. So I'd love to see those designs used. But yeah, wish the Quintessons had a bigger role, but they didn't really need to for the story they're telling. They serve their role, and then in future movies you can like drag them out or make them do more. So yeah, that's exciting. But yeah, Central Prime was a great villain. And then another great scene, my like probably is my favorite. Besides like the Lost Light stuff, and yeah, I'm just generic Transformers fan. I really like the Lost Light stuff and the Wreckers stuff from IDW, but Autocracy has to be like my favorite story. Because like it just gets the conflict so good, so right. I assume that they must have read it before making this movie because there's a lot of similar beats to it. But I love Autocracy, the IDW comic, and then like spoilers. I've spit spoilers so many times, I don't need to preface it. The bit where Orion becomes Optimus Prime, he's like falling down a pit, and then yeah, the pit, he's falling down, and the world's like transforming. Like it's like he's constantly falling. Like the floor like transforms from underneath him. Like he's unconscious, basically dead at this point, so he's not knowing any of this. But he's falling to Cybertron's core, because Primus, like he's the one who's worthy of the Matrix. Primus needs to give him the Matrix. So it's just a really cool scene. It's like done in all grey and all that. It looks incredible, and it's like straight out of Autocracy. It's not straight out of Autocracy, did a bit things, but it's like so similar. Like him getting the Matrix and all that. It's so similar, and again, I love that comic. So seeing that in a movie was just like, wow, that's actually incredible. So again, this movie is basically perfect for me. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's just some scenes I liked and some bits I liked. And yeah, I think I really went through it. I just really like the movie. There's like personal connections with my script writing and stuff, and for what I want to see in a movie. And yeah, as I'm looking back, it's just a really, really, really good movie. Yeah. I'm assuming if you want to watch it, you wouldn't be watching this video because it's a spoilers, or if you have watched it and you're watching this video, or if you're just a friend of mine who's just watching this video to support me, thank you. Yeah, it's a great movie. Go watch it if you haven't. I have gone into spoilers a bit about like central conflicts and that. It certainly, like what I've said, I don't think will ruin any enjoyment of the movie. Like, again, like I'm just laying out what happened. It is spoilers because I'm spoiling stuff that happens, but if you're watching this and you haven't seen the movie, go watch it. Nothing, I've said spoilers, but that won't ruin the movie in any way whatsoever. Like, I had the Studio Series 8, not Studio Series 8, I had the 86 movie spoiled me like a million times over because I was just getting into the franchise and everybody's seen it 1,000 times already. So like, I had that movie spoiled. Like, I knew every second of what happened in that movie before I watched that movie, and it's still my favorite movie because when I watched it, it was like, yeah, it's incredible. Yeah, what's like the title for that movie is Beyond Good, Beyond Evil, Beyond Your Wildest Imagination, or something along that. Hold on, I'll search it up. Beyond Good, Beyond Evil, Beyond Your Wildest Imagination is the thing for the 86 movie, and that's what it did So when you watch that movie, even if you've had like every detail about it, you watch that movie and like, this is incredible. This is better than I ever expected. Even knowing everything that happened, it's still better than you expected. And I feel like this movie is the same. Where like, even when I went into it, like watching that first like minute or so, I'm like, I could never imagine this ever. And I tried, like with that script thing, I tried. But yeah, it's beyond like, if you told me everything that happens in the movie and I watched that movie, I'd be like, wow, I did not see this coming. That might be over exaggerating a bit, but you get the point. It's a really good movie, so go watch it, even if I spoiled it. I've been recording for 32 minutes straight about me talking about Transformers, the shortest time I've talked about Transformers. But yeah, great movie. Go watch it. I'll record more segments if I like remember stuff. I'm like, wowee, that's incredible. I love this movie. But yeah, incredible movie. I loved it. Like, I'm kind of like looking back at it. I'm like, wow, wait a minute, that movie is perfect. So this is like less out of the theater experience for me, and more so like remembering the movie and everything it did, and remembering that, yeah, it's pretty perfect for me. Alright, thank you. Bye. Hello. I'm back. Or back because I'm doing this after I've done a bit of editing, and there's just some points that I missed out on talking about in the video, so I just want to come back and put these in. And I'm not sure when they'll appear in the video, whether it makes sense in my head, but there's just some things I want to talk about that I forgot to bring up. First one is just going back over designs, because I failed to talk about that. But the city is what I have in the notes, and Cybertron is the best it's ever looked in this film. It's like, it's incredible. I think some of the strokes they took, like new ones, I like that there's stuff like grass, like cybernetic grass, like animals on the surface of Cybertron, because like the planet split up into like two layers: the underground where everybody resides, and the surface where the quintessons are. And yeah, the surface just looks really great. There's a great shot of a sunset there, and just the landscape, and like there's these ruins, and it's like sort of like an organic planet, which is surprising, and you just wouldn't expect that, so it's just really cool to see. And yeah, so that looked good, and then the underground city part also just looked great. Again, it's the best Cybertron's ever looked. It's like similar to IDW again, but probably better. And there's just lots of details I love. Like the city is just constantly transforming, or like Iacon, everywhere you look there's just transformations happening everywhere, whether it's like the actual civilians or like buildings changing. Like one detail I love is the trains and cars, they just whenever they're moving, it spawns like the track or like the road in front of them. And yeah, I love that detail. It's just so nice to look at, and especially like in fight scenes or like dramatic scenes where you see that happening, and it's just really cool to look at. So yeah, Cybertron is the best it's ever looked in my opinion with Transformers 1. Right? And character design. I saw at the start, from little interaction I've had with people talking about the film that aren't fans of Transformers and fans of Transformers, they didn't like the designs. Like the faces looked off, and like the cogless designs especially, I saw that people didn't really like that much, which I love all the designs in this film. And yeah, the cogless designs were just really good in my opinion. Like I love, it's because I'm a huge fan of like G1 designs, like G1 toy, that's where I kind of reside. IDW, like their adaptation of G1 designs I really liked, and same with like Dreamwave and that. And this just feels like that next step up, like in modernizing G1 designs. Like, spoilers for RC's design at the end. She gets like a transformation cog. It's a short scene, it doesn't have any real importance. Everybody gets a transformation cog in the end. But she has stuff like the visor that was like prominent on Visor Beast designs, and of course you first see it in 86 movie. So it's like stuff like that. They take all the designs just to feel like a love letter from like every incarnation, but especially like G1, and just modernizing him. And yeah, all the designs are really great. I think again, Optimus and Megatron are some of my favorites. Bumblebee, I would have liked more like horns, like the G1 design has the horns. I would have liked more something like that, but I don't mind what we got. But yeah, Bumblebee's design is great, Ali's design is great. Alita, like her design changes in like everything she appears in. Like they're never like too strict to G1 with her, which is interesting. But I certainly do like the design of this film. I'm not sure if it's my favorite, but this is like the best interpretation of Alita we've probably ever gotten. Earthspark also gave like a good interpretation, and IDW's was good, but not what I'd like to see the character. But also, and Skybound, what they're doing with Alita, I really like. And there's similar beats between Skybound and TF1 that just are similar. So yeah, Alita, like as a character and as a design, is like really, really good. And yeah, Megatron and Optimus being probably my favorites. I think I talked about Sentinel Prime, but his design also really good. Just touch on that. He has like an armored up form, which you can see in the Studio Series toy that's coming up. And yep, his design's great. And then yeah, so Megatron and Optimus go through 3 designs throughout the film. There's the cogless forms, which I think Megatron has a better one of those. It's got the black helmet, the grey body, yellow eyes, which black helmet, yellow eyes for like Megatron I really, really like. Like, I just, whenever they do that, like, that's just, I think, yeah, cool. Yeah, I like that. So I like that the cogless one had that. And then the cogged design, it's very soft looking. I think I might prefer the cogless more than it, but again, keeps yellow eyes, which yellow eyes in Transformers is a big plus for me. But yeah, the cog design is pretty cool. I love the way the tank mode looks. And then his final design, where he gets like his final upgrade, and that's a really great design. So I'm super excited for the Studio Series toy of that, to have that design, because yeah, that's like, I love that design for Megatron. And then Optimus, it's the same, although I feel like his cogged form is better than his cogless form. And yeah, but not much to say. I have the Studio 6 toy of, trying to grab it without everything falling off my shelf. Yeah, but the Studio Series toy for Optimus, yeah, I love this design. I think I do prefer this over the Megatron, like as a design. So yeah, just they're both designs, and the way it evolves throughout the film and the way it upgrades, it's just so good. And yeah, so yeah, designs between the city and the characters are very good. That's what I wanted to bring up here. And then the last thing I have in my notes to bring up, and I don't think there's much else. If I do think of something again, I'll insert it like this. But voices, I did touch on voices a bit, but the voices, Megatron is the one I want to speak on the most, because in the trailers I didn't love, is it Brian Tyree Henry, I believe his name is. I'll do some editing to get the actual voice up, but I didn't love his D16 voice, but in the movie I really liked it, especially like seeing how that character works and how he grows throughout the film. Like, the voice is perfect. And then his voice as Megatron and as like the cog D16, like every time he gets upgraded, his voice gets a little bit more deeper, or he's like becomes a bit more jaded. And his final Megatron voice is great. I love it so much. It's, to me, because I forget that like in the G1 cartoon, Megatron has this sort of like raspy villainous voice, which is really good, and he's like sort of emulating that, but there's a bit more depth to it. So this is a really good Megatron voice, so he did a great job on that, and my opinion on his voice work has completely changed because it was just so good in this film. And then Chris Hemsworth as Orion Pax and Optimus Prime did a great job. His Optimus Prime voice, not as good as the Megatron, like Brian Tyree Henry voice, but it's a good effort. I like it a lot. I would like to see more of it because it's only like a bit near the end we actually get to hear it, and like my favorite scene was when he's like inspiring everybody. I'd like to hear like in future movies that voice inspiring people, because I think a good comparison to make is Gary Chalk's voice for Armada Optimus Prime, and while it doesn't sound like G1 Optimus Prime, it captures the essence of who Optimus Prime is perfectly. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for with Chris Hemsworth's voice. I think it was good. It's not as good as Peter Cullen, of course, but there's a lot of potential there, so I'm excited to see where that goes. Everybody else's voice was good. I think I brought up how Bumblebee, I like how he talks so much, and Keegan-Michael Key did a great job. I like his humor as well, so I guess there's a bit of bias in there for me, but yep, that was really good. Scarlett Johansson as Alita, yeah, that was good as well. It fits the character. She had like some of the best lines, and not best lines, but like the better lines, or like the more memorable ones came from her, and she just did a great standard performance. Like, it's what you want. Sentinel Prime, yep, catches that jerk voice, like, great. John Hamm did great on that. And yeah, all the voices in the film are pretty good. I did mention that I didn't like Jazz too much, but yeah, they did a great job. So shout out to all the actors and voice actors and people who worked on that, because it did a great job. And the celebrity casting didn't feel like celebrity casting. It felt like good, proper like acting, and that was great. Yeah, I believe that is it. So I'll just stop recording. With how I've recorded this is kind of gonna become the new ending for the video, I guess. So future me just adding some more things, and yeah, proper bye now. So bye.